The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Welcome to Albany County News. I'm Mary Rozak, the Director of Communications for Albany County. And in the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to talk about a nonprofit that is like a chameleon. It has really changed, it's evolved, and we are going to talk about the new face and the new direction of United Way of the Greater Capital Region. Joining me today is Erica Warner, the Community Impact Manager. Welcome.
Thank you, Mary, for having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about you first before we get into the nuts and bolts of the changes going on at United Way. But how long have you been at United Way?
2.5 years now.
It's been 2.5 years and you haven't
crazy.
been here.
Time flies when you're having fun.
My gosh, I know. We had your CEO, we had Pete Gannon here. It's been a year since we've had him here, so we have to have him back to talk about some things. I know that he was busy getting ready for another big event. And what have you been doing at United Way as Community Impact Manager? Tell me what that means for those who do not know.
So for me, it's really being involved with the community, being the liaison for United Way, saying, hey, these are the opportunities we have for volunteering, for advocacy, for giving back, and just really making the connection with our community and our business leaders.
Lots of volunteers for United Way.
Lots of volunteers, and the more the better.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, I hearken back to having done a few years there myself, and it's wonderful when people can connect, being able to give back. It's give, advocate, and volunteer. So when you can actually roll up your sleeves and do some things. We recently had an activity where we rolled up our sleeves.
We did, and you helped me out with that, Mary, and I couldn't thank you enough because it was our 518 day. Our big 518 day. So I can go into it if you'd like.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So May 18th, 518, the area code, for those who don't understand what that is. When Pete Gannon started about a year ago with us, year and a half ago, he said, we need to do something in the community. We need to have the single largest day of community impact. So he goes, how are we going to do this? So when Peter started, it was just the staff of United Way, about 20 of us, went down to Washington Park in Albany, and we helped rake some trees with some of the guys and kind of did a little beautification process. And then we came back to United Way, have a nice little celebration, a little barbecue, and just enjoyed being with each other and our community leaders, our donors, our business leaders. So we decided this has great potential to grow. So this past May 18th again, of course, we had over 300 volunteers.
That's great.
Doing 1,200 hours of service with 40 service projects throughout 5 counties.
It's amazing, isn't it? I know
Crazy.
The county executive's office, we had quite a good experience. I know people were saying, we got to do this more often, and so we've talked about that, but we were over at the Regional Food Bank.
Yes.
And we have learned, I have never looked at a can with an expiration date the same way. Now that I have gone through that process and I know, what, expired means this to this kind of product and this to another one. But the impact that we had, and hearing from the Regional Food Bank, we were on a mission. We thought, okay, we'll get everything done on this pallet, and then it was like, oh, you have to do this pallet, and you need to do this pallet. We were exhausted after 3 hours, 3.5 hours, whatever it was, but it was wonderful. Do you get that kind of feedback from people?
I do. So since it was such a big scale this year, we surveyed all 300 volunteers. We got about a pretty good response back, and it was worth getting the feel to be involved. Some of our projects were landscaping projects, some of the residences. And some of the residences came out, and they helped with the project, and they kept thanking the volunteers. And one volunteer came back to me at the community celebration we had at Washington Park this past year and said, that was the most impactful moment to see the smile on this person's face, knowing that they were going to have their yard raked and fresh flowers planted.
Stuff that we probably don't do at our own home, but
stuff we put to the side because we never have the time to do it. So why beautify, our house? We got time. But when you're doing it for someone else and you see the impact of it, it's just a beautiful thing.
So we're going in this backwards because I'm going to
Yes.
get to where United Way is now in just a minute. But where did you come from before United Way? What kind of background? What did you do before this?
So my direct is human services. I've been with human services agencies for the past, 5 to 7 years. But before that, I was in the higher education world.
Okay.
And decided that, it was great, it was impactful, I loved it, but my heart wanted more. So then I decided to get into the human services industry, dip my toe in the water, was like, oh, this is kind of nice. And then when I went to a soup kitchen and I had a direct response from, a client saying, I can't have anybody touch my cart out there. I need to sit here and look out the window. I said, honey, you can sit whatever you want. He goes, no, I don't want my cart to be stolen. And to know that that was his only possession that he had, it melted my heart. And then I was like, nope, I want to be in the human services industry from now on.
So you're talking about an experience the same way the volunteers really
Yes.
talk about their experience.
Yes.
So you bring that to your job every day. I'm sure it's not the same day twice.
No, and that's what I love about it. I love the variety, getting out with the community, get to do fun things like this with you.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's fun.
It really is an eye-opening and wonderful experience.
How challenging is it? You're talking about 300 volunteers on that one day.
Yes.
There are people that probably will call you up and say, hey, what kind of volunteer opportunities do you have? Now, do you have something for people that call up like that on an ad hoc kind of basis as opposed to the all day, once a year or twice a year or whatever projects? And how challenging is that to you?
Absolutely. So we have this awesome platform that United Way kind of funds and supports called unitedtovolunteer.org. So it's a free website. Any nonprofit, any, public person, community leader, business leader, Joe Smith walking down the street can create a profile on United to Volunteer and have access to hundreds of opportunities. I've seen opportunities where I need help filing because I have an event coming up and I want to make sure that everything's in line. To, I need my conference room painted because it hasn't been painted in years because I haven't been able to afford a painter to come in, and I haven't had a chance to even do it myself. So it's a wide variety of opportunities, and yes, I do get those phone calls, and I say to them, I said, are you in front of a computer? I said, I'm going to give you the easiest way to find access to whatever your heart desires. And the best thing about unitedtovolunteer.org is that you can sort by mileage. I want to volunteer within something of 10 miles of my house. I want to do something that's family friendly. I need something that's, skilled labor. So there's so many ways to filter down to really find where your passion is.
And I know sometimes people are worried about, I give my information and now I'm going to be badgered. But I can attest firsthand to the fact that, you sign up, you check boxes as to what you want to be notified about or when you want to be notified, and you are.
Yes. Yep. So that's why we love people to create their own profile, because you're asked about what are your interests, what are your skills, what can you bring to the table, so that it's narrowed down. So when a skill comes up or a volunteer opportunity comes up that says, hey, we need someone that's good with skilled labor, who can paint a conference room, who likes to work with, community health organizations. You're going to get an email then that kind of filters to what you enjoy, so that you'll know when you go, you're not going to be bored. You're going to actually make an impact and enjoy doing it.
And it fits your schedule as well, which is always important.
Yes, absolutely.
So let me ask this now, and we'll get into this. When Pete Gannon came on board, he was looking to see the next step, the future of United Way. And now I know there is another face of United Way. Why don't you talk about the changes as we go into what you call the United Way campaign season? And it's not necessarily all about campaign anymore, right? It's a different kind of campaign.
Different kind of campaign. So the hot topic, I like to say, in our industry is corporate social responsibility. Well, what is corporate social responsibility? In the past, United Way was go to the organization, drop off the bag with the pledge forms, give a little wave, call me when you need me. Well, and then that was it. United Way stepped back, the organization did their thing, it was done. Not anymore. Corporate social responsibility, United Way, it's all about shoulder to shoulder. we're going to be walking with you shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, year round, engaging through corporate social responsibility and through community engagement and volunteer opportunities and advocacy and giving back, because it's not just a one-time deal. You know, we can make an impact throughout the year, and we got to make it with each other. I mean, United Way, we have a great, you know, kind of part in the neighborhood here where we're the convener. We have the role, we have the relationships with the business leaders, the community leaders to say, hey, we see this need. Let's be a community champion. Let's go out there and let's make an impact together.
Now, change is always hard.
Absolutely.
Right? So while the wave across the world now is, you know, corporate responsibility and doing something different, and with the millennials where they want to make a donation, you know, a mobile donation, right?
Right.
And as I show my age as I'm going like this with the phone, right? If I say BlackBerry, then that dates me too. There must be some businesses that are probably having a little harder time, right, making that kind of transition. And not everybody fits the same mold, right? So, there's probably a different strategy when it comes to the varying businesses that you have.
Absolutely. So, I mean, one of the coolest things we have now is we're working with Mobile Cause, which is our text to donate platform. And that can be used for anything. It could be used for, you know, when we did our school supply drive at the Valley Cats. You know, we invited the community to come in, donate, you know, a school supply item, get a little gift card. Can't donate the item, well then text to donate on the big, you know, board there. Text this number and then be able to make the impact still. We'll go out then, we'll get the school supplies. We'll make sure that the kids go back and they're prepared for the school season. Mm-hmm. So we do have this wonderful, you know, opportunity now with Mobile Cause to do that kind of thing. And then, yes, some people are still paper and pen, and we can still do paper and pen, but it's better to do, you know, an online approach because it's quick and easy and we all have our cell phones.
Certainly. When we talk about the traditional campaign, I know that there's probably one huge advantage when you go into a company, and we'll talk about how easy it is to make that donation because it can be a payroll deduction.
Absolutely.
Is that still something that I'm going to guess that's probably the largest way that United Way still has?
It's still a very huge impact to do the payroll deduction. Quick, easy, you don't even feel it. I mean, we at United Way, we run our own internal campaign, and I don't think many places know that we fundraise for ourselves and for our community. So we do an internal campaign, and I don't feel when it comes out of the paycheck. So that's why I prefer the payroll deduction. Mm-hmm. But there are some, in organizations, and it's not a problem. One-time gifts are great. Check, credit card, whatever's comfortable for them. But it really is just the best way to make the impact.
It is, and for full disclosure, I'm a donor, and that's the way I donate, because I find it is so easy, it is painless. Just as you have money taken out for savings or something else from your paycheck, it is so easy to do that.
Absolutely.
So, if someone that's watching, and they have a company, even a small business, and they may want to take part in that, what's the best thing to do? Who do they reach out to?
They can reach out to anyone on our team. They can reach out to me. I'd be gladly to assist. And that's my job, is to go out to meet with organizations and say, hey, this is United Way. This is what we do. This is how we're going to be working together year round. And here's the ways you can make an impact. It could be a corporate gift. It could be a payroll deduction. It could be a workplace campaign. Mm-hmm. It could be a workplace campaign with a match. Mm-hmm. Because the more dollars, the more impact we can make for every person in every community.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to probably put you on the spot here, and I don't mean to, and if you don't know the answer, that's fine. But I know as we are taping this, there have been all kinds of stories going around about the payroll fiasco that has devastated certain businesses in parts of this country, with I think it's My Payroll HR, yes. something like that. I know that I believe that there are provisions when it comes to deductions and how that works. Do you know the ins and outs, or isn't it the company itself that is actually taking?
Yes. So and I like to stress that the dollars do stay local. Even if you work for a company where corporate's in Cleveland, but you work here, all dollars stay local. And yes, I get to know at the end of the day how much was raised at the company, but it's up to the company's HR to work on the payroll deduction out of their employees' checks. I don't do that. I don't touch that.
United
That's
Way
on
does
them.
that. I just wanted to make
Nope.
sure, because want to make
Yeah.
that clear, because I know that that's probably something when people will be watching this, they're going to be thinking
Yes.
and wondering about themselves. This is a good opportunity. Phone number and website. We'll do it a couple of times, but it's a good opportunity if people want to call United Way
Absolutely.
or want to log in on the website.
Absolutely. So, again, I'm Erica Warner. It would be 518-640-2376. And the websites, I'll say, are unitedwaygcr.org. And again, that unitedtovolunteer.org.
So when we are talking with Erica Warner from United Way of the Greater Capital Region, the Community Impact Manager. We're talking about the fact that people want to be, and there's a phrase that I love, people want to be part of something greater than themselves.
Absolutely.
Is that really the tag now, the line, as we go into this whole new philosophy, the whole new way of thinking or branding, perhaps even some people might think with United Way?
Absolutely, and I would say it definitely is. It definitely is that we want to be taking that give, advocate, and volunteer, and we want to change it to be a hand raiser, be a game changer, be a problem solver, because it helps. United Way, fights for the financial education, health, and income of every person in every community, and that is the honest truth. Our job is to be out there, convene, collaborate, work with one another to make the best community impact that we can.
How does this change, or does it? Some of the things that United Way has done in the past. I know that there was financial sustainability. There were other things. You are very big at United Way about feeding children.
Absolutely.
Particularly during the summer. How does this change or alter in any way, or does it, some of those other programs?
I don't know if the word we change. I think it enhances. It enhances relationships. It enhances the impact, and it really moves us forward into, again, this whole new way of just, hey, calling to check on you. Great, you're doing awesome. Well, I'll talk to you in 6 months. No, now it's enhancing the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly talking and making sure we're checking with one another, and that we're making the best use of our time to collaborate and convene.
Yeah, there is a lot of information about the fact that when people are investing their money, not only is it, the good thing, the financial, the responsibility for social responsibility and corporate social responsibility, but they want to have a hand in what's
Absolutely.
happening. So when it comes to some of those other programs and services, how much, it's been years since I have been directly involved in this aspect, but how much say does a donor or a company actually have in where the money is invested, that they donate, and then how United Way then invests the money?
So donors have a choice. They can donate to our kind of like our unrestricted fund, strategic investments, or they can choose any 501c3 that they, their heart is close to. And as long as someone's making an impact, that's what we'd like to see. So it really is, the donor has the choice. United Way knows how to take the funds. We know where the most need is. We are the single point where you can make the biggest philanthropic and community impact, because we see the needs. We're boots on the ground, we're seeing what's going on, and we're trying to help address the problems. So the dollars help at anywhere in any way.
There are a lot of things that are being done at United Way by a few hands. You wear a lot of different hats. I know you have the title of Community Impact Manager, but there's a comma after that, and there are other things. So let's talk about some of the other things, the after the comma things. Let's talk about 211.
So 211, great service that we have. It's a 365, 24/7 Health and Human Services confidential hotline. So literally you dial the numbers 211 and you get access to, a person on the other line that's going to ask you questions that says, how can I help you today? What is your issue? Where do you live? And really narrow it down so that when I leave the call with someone who's in a dire need, I'm going to have referrals and resources that I can now connect with that's going to help me solve my problem.
That's come a long way in the 10 years and I know it's 10 years because I know they launched it when I was working at United Way, but come a long way from the basically 9 to 5, Monday through Friday back then.
Right.
How has this been able to be achieved? Is it through, I'm assuming there was a strategy to get there, but we're assuming that there's a call center. The call
There
center
is.
Go ahead.
Yes, actually, so we do have a call center that we work with, believe it or not. Not bigger than this studio, Mary, that you and I are sitting in. When I went down last year to visit the call center, I was expecting a room with, hundreds of people answering hundreds of calls. And it's really a small room of dedicated staff working around the clock, for, lack of better words. And to witness a call was like, I get chills talking about it right now, because you can witness someone getting help.
Sure.
But we do. We have a call center. Again, it's 24/7, 365, and people, it's shifts, and they're working around the clock to make sure that every need is addressed.
Now, it's interesting that, people who may be listening and watching, this is for everyone. Anyone can pick
Everyone.
up the phone. Why don't you go through some of the things that are covered if someone can call and find out information about from 211?
Absolutely. It ranges from housing to food to transportation to, I need help paying my electric bill, to when's my recycling day? I live in XYZ County. I forget when my recycling day is.
Or I just moved here and I need to know, what school district I may be in, because as
Right.
we all know, if you live in Guilderland, you could be in one of many school districts, right?
Correct. So it's it covers, a variety of needs. So those are just, a touch point on just some.
Do you have a list of like the top kinds of questions or areas of interest that
Right
people are
now,
calling about?
about 30% of the calls are around housing.
Okay.
The next is information services. So again, the recycling days, what school district
Sure.
am I in,
Sure.
in, and then it's food. Where's my nearest food pantry?
So when you're talking about housing, it's I need help paying the rent?
It could
Or-
be a variety, actually. It could be I need help paying my rent. I need help finding. I'm new to the area. I just had to move here. I'm starting fresh with my life. I'm in this county. I'm in Albany County. What's going to be the closest places I could go to that could help me with finding housing, affordable housing?
So housing, information services, and you said food, number
Food.
3.
Yep, those are our top 3.
So, do you know? I would guess that there are lots of repeat callers, because once you get some help somewhere and you know where to call, people are going to call back.
Right.
Do you have any facts and figures about that, or do people actually say, "Hey, I'm calling back again," or because it's anonymous, right?
It's anonymous, yes. So that's why we say confidential, and also we have 200 languages. So
Okay.
we have an interpreter that can help with over 200 languages. So that's another kind of aspect of it, but. Yeah.
Tell me about the interpreter part, because I know that there are those that are scratching their heads like I am and saying, "How does that work? Is it like a translation service, or?"
Yeah, it's a kind of like a translation service. So, I have a background in maybe a Latino background that I would call in, and then a Latino interpreter would be kind of called in as well. So it's kind of almost like a 3-way call.
Oh, wow.
And they're helping to interpret between the 211 representative and the person calling.
Okay. So 211s across the country. This is not, 211 is not something that we have here
No.
just in our area. How many states, or how widespread is 211?
Through United Way, parent, United Way Worldwide.
Okay. So it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. I could call up a colleague up in North Carolina right now. I could call a colleague up in California, and we all have 211. We all bounce, questions and everything off of each other. So to know that it's literally everywhere. If I'm, in New Jersey and something happens and I see someone that needs help, I can call 211. I can
You just take
tell
your
them
cell
about
phone and you
211.
dial, and it's going to put you through.
It's going to put me right through.
Put you through locally. I know that one of the things that's a little bit different down in New York City is their 211 is actually covered by a 311. Is that or it was? Is that still the case?
I believe so. I believe it's kind of a little bit of both for them.
Okay. Wow. So what is the actual support? Is there government support as well? I know that United Way is the lead, and this is a United Way function. But do you get grants of any kind at this point?
We do get some. We do get some government support, which we're very grateful for, and it really helps us keep the lines open. Donors can even direct their dollars to 211. That's another option. And it just kind of helps us to keep this a service that can be, again, that year-round, anytime I need it, call.
Always a live operator.
Always a live operator.
I think that's important because so many times you get into that automation, I'm going to say it, automation hell.
Yes.
And you start hitting buttons and you don't know where you're going and you never get a live human being.
Right.
So that's very important. 365, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
7 days a week.
Is there anything else after that comma?
Volunteerism.
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 What's the top question, top thing that you get from someone who may call up to volunteer?
What do you have available?
Okay.
What do you have available with, I want to do X, Y, Z? So, and X, Y, Z, I say that because it's a variety. It's, I want to go do some filing. I want to go stock a food pantry. I need to know where I can take my organization. I've got a group of 10 people that want to do something between 2 and 4 on a Wednesday afternoon in XYZ County. Let's say it's Albany County. Where can I go?
Do you more often than not get like a company or a group or individuals?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. Some of those workplaces that we work with through our campaigns, they are big around the corporate social responsibility as well, and volunteering has really played an impact in that. So a lot of companies will call us and say, hey, we want to do volunteer activities this fall. I'm going to have a group of about 20 people. Where can we send them? So then we'll ask them, is there a specific county, is there a specific task? And a lot of the times it's whatever you want to do. So, I mean, we're sending out a group probably in October to go do a meal at a shelter. We're going to be sending them to do fall cleanup at a youth shelter, raking leaves, something simple as that.
So someone watching this, if there is an organization, how do you pick the different sites that can be the recipients of volunteer hours and volunteer activity?
I know I keep saying it, but again, that unitedtovolunteer.org, it's right there. And we can create a user group, we call it, where you have access for your company only to specific opportunities.
Okay, I'm not being clear. The flip side, I understand, I can go in, but if I'm an organization that's looking to get people to volunteer, what are the criteria? Like, do I have to be a 501c3? How does that work?
It does not matter. It could be any nonprofit.
Any nonprofit.
Any nonprofit.
Okay. All right, clear enough. Let's give the phone number and the website yet again.
Sure. Again, it's 518-640-2376. And then it's unitedwaygcr.org and unitedtovolunteer.org.
Got 30 seconds. Give me your 30-second pitch on the all-new United Way enhanced philosophy.
Shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. Let's work together year-round, and let's make an impact through being a community champion together.
All right, Erica Warner, thank you. Erica Warner, United Way of the Greater Capital Region's Community Impact Manager. And you've heard so much these days about corporate social responsibility. I know we're all out there wanting to roll up our sleeves and volunteer in some way and really have an impact. So give, advocate, and volunteer, the mantra of United Way. I'm Mary Rozak. I'm the Communications Director for Albany County. This has been Albany County News. We'll see you again soon.